Hello, I'm Jim Roberts, and I'm the host of Senior Living in Alexandria. We have another useful session of information for seniors, as well as for their family, friends, caregivers, and others. It's the goal of Senior Services of Alexandria to use this forum as a means of getting useful information to its audience. And once again, here we are in December, and I'm extremely pleased as we come into the holiday season. I think it's only appropriate that we should understand something that's dear to us all, our pets, animals, puppies, and cats. And so I'm pleased tonight to have Megan Webb with me tonight.
Thank you.
She's the Executive Director of the Animal League of Alexandria. And we're going to learn a lot about her programs, but we're also going to learn a little bit about how some of those programs relate to the needs of seniors or opportunities that might be available for seniors. So welcome, nice to have you here. And
nice to be here.
Let me start off. How did you wind up at Animal League of Alexandria?
Two words, Vola Lawson.
Oh.
I
think there's a building with her name
There
on
is.
it. Okay.
The animal shelter in Alexandria is named after her.
Okay.
And we run the services for the shelter and also field services for Alexandria. But the shelter is named the Vola Lawson Animal Shelter. And Vola Lawson was a city manager for many, many years in Alexandria. And she was also on the board of the Animal Welfare League of Alexandria.
Did she have pets, as far as you know?
She did have. She had pets.
That's wonderful.
Yes,
It's only appropriate.
She did, and she was very much involved. And she was involved in hiring the next executive director.
Okay.
And I came from California.
Oh, good.
And I had a chance to spend about 6 months with her before she passed away. And got a chance to know exactly what her goals were for the shelter and what she hoped for.
Well, she was well respected, and I think deserving of that honor. There's a lot of ways you could honor Vola Lawson, but I think it's indicative that that the shelter was named for her. So.
Oh, absolutely. She loved animals, and she wanted to see us help as many animals as possible. She just kept saying, more, Megan. I want you to help more animals.
Oh,
and we have done that. We've significant'ly increased the number of animals we've helped each year.
What was your background? Are you a veterinarian or a
no, I haven't
nonprofit executive? Well, we know that.
Yeah.
How'd you wind up in animal welfare?
Yeah, my background actually was in science, and then I got
Okay.
into public health. I worked with kids with asthma, and then started to do that, and had, but I on the side was volunteering at an animal shelter, and found that that's all I wanted to think about. And so I decided, one day I decided to leave that world and took a small job at the animal shelter and worked my way up to be executive director in Oakland, and then did that
hired
for
from Oakland to come here.
I was. I did
Good
that
for
for
us
10
and
years.
Good for you. 10 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
10 years, and then I came here, and I really enjoy it. I get to run a nonprofit, which is not what I did in Oakland. I was under the police department in Oakland, and here I run the nonprofit, and we work collaboratively with the police department and to run the functions of animal services.
What's the basic mission? Animal welfare. What does that mean?
Well, really, our mission is very simple. It's compassion towards all living things here in Alexandria, and we really try to spread that all over. But our goal is really to help animals in many, many ways. So we help animals through sheltering abandoned ones. We get animals to the shelter for all kinds of reasons, everything from their owner has died to the people can no longer afford to care for an animal. Sometimes they're stray. Sometimes they're abused or neglected and have to come to a safe place, a safe haven. And then we shelter and find those animals new homes. Many of them come to us with medical or behavioral issues we have to address. And then we have animal control officers who answer calls for distressed animals or people who need help with animals. Everything from animals who have been injured, maybe hit by a car, who are at a home that are not being properly cared for. We may be addressing a crime against an animal, or even wildlife issues. So a wide range. Anything that has an animal issue here in the city, we are dealing with.
Aren't some of those things city functions?
Yeah, so we have the contract with the City of Alexandria. So about half of our funding comes from the government.
Okay.
But we provide the services to run the shelter and operate the shelter, as well as handle City of Alexandria field services for animals. And then on top of that, so we just do those basic services, but on top of that, we are a nonprofit that provides all the additional care those animals need. And on top of just being brought to the shelter, but we then are really work on finding every animal a placement, appropriate placement.
What are some measures of the various, you've got a variety of programs, but what are some measures? Numbers of pets served or placed or...
Yeah, something I'm very
what
proud
some
of
measures?
is, we this last year we cared for 2,600 animals.
Oh, okay.
So that's a big increase. Before I came, it was below 2,000.
Okay.
And we also, something I'm really, really proud of, and I know Vola Lawson would be very happy, because she wanted us to fill our cages and kennels. If we had room, we should take animals in. And so whenever we do, we reach out to neighboring shelters and rescue groups and say, we have space, we'll bring in animals. So the 2 years before I came, we took in 300 animals from other shelters and rescue groups.
And you're now
and
up to
the 2 years after, so comparatively during those 300 versus 1,000.
Wow.
So we've more than tripled the number of animals that we're bringing into the shelter.
Are you able to take
From other
care
places.
of all the need that there might be, or you're still not able to keep up?
Well, there's always animals in need. And it's a constant. So our goal is to find ways of continuously increasing our adoptions, because every time we move an animal out and get it into a home, that means a space for us to bring in another animal in need.
Okay.
And so our goal is to really increase our adoptions. We do very big adoption events where we can place 45, 50 animals a weekend.
Really?
And then that's more animals that can come on in.
Is there, when you place them in those events like that, is there a rate that they come back and said, oops, we made a mistake or we got the wrong animal?
There's a
or-
small percentage that do come back, but that's okay. That doesn't mean that it was bad. It means that someone felt comfortable enough that they said, you know what, I'm going to bring the animal back to that shelter. I know it's a good place, and I'm going to find the right match for me.
Okay. We have to go to a break.
Absolutely.
So I want to ask a little bit more about the process of adoption
Sure.
so that our folks know they need to be in touch with you and adopt a pet.
Yes,
That's all I have to
please.
say. So we'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Speck-Caudron of the Speck-Caudron Investment Group of Wells Fargo Advisors. I'm here today to give you 5 tips on investment and tax planning before the end of the year. Number 1, harvest tax losses from your portfolio. No one wants to take a loss in their portfolio, but with the recent stock market volatility, many investors have losses that they can take on the books. But you don't get to take the loss for tax purposes unless you actually sell the investment. So what you can do is sell the investment, and then you have 2 choices. You can buy back a very similar stock or mutual fund, or you can wait 31 days and then buy back your original investment. By recording the loss, you can use these losses to offset any amount of gains that you've taken during the year, or you can even use up to $3,000 of loss against ordinary income. And you can also carry forward losses, almost like a loss savings account for future years. So if there's one benefit of this volatility, it's being able to take a tax loss that can help you out on your taxes. Number 2, be wary of capital gains distributions. With the stock market having done very well over the past several years, this year notwithstanding, many funds are distributing large capital gains. In taxable accounts, you're going to have to pay taxes on those gains even if you reinvest them. So you really want to be prepared and have an idea of what those gains are going to be, and prepare accordingly with your final quarterly tax estimate, and make sure you're not surprised when April 15th comes along. Also, if you're adding to your investments, you want to be a little bit cautious about when you're putting additional money as we get closer to the end of the year, because you may invest for just a month but then be subject to the capital gains distribution and get taxed on that even though you haven't had the investment for a very long period of time. So just something to watch out for. Number 3, fund your retirement accounts, Roth IRAs, IRAs. With employer-sponsored retirement plans like a 401k and a 403b, you can contribute up to $18,000 this year, plus another $6,000 if you're over 50, over 50 as what's called a catch-up contribution. But those contributions need to be done through payroll deduction. So if you want to add to those, you need to do that right away. Roth IRAs and IRAs, as long as you have earned income, you can make contributions within the certain rules, the parameters, by April 15th of next year. So you've got a little bit more time, but now's the time to begin thinking about those too. Number 4, make sure you take your required minimum distribution out of your IRA or qualified retirement plan. If you're 70 and a half, you have to start taking an annual distribution that the IRS requires us to do. It starts at about 3.5% and goes up a little bit each year. The catch is if you don't do it, the IRS imposes a 50% penalty, which is the largest tax that they actually have on the books. So don't forget about this. And then finally, number 5, gift appreciated assets to charity. Sometimes rather than donating, just writing a check to charity, it's beneficial to donate appreciated stock or mutual funds to the charity. It has a double benefit. First of all, if you have a really successful investment that has a large unrealized gain, you can donate the full amount to the charity. You get the entire deduction, but don't have to pay any tax on the gains. Since the charity is a nonprofit, it does not have to pay tax on the gains either. So you get the full write-off, no tax. Charity doesn't have to pay any tax either. Win-win. If you have a particular year where you have a large amount of income in the given year, or you're approaching retirement and think that your taxable income may go down and want to be charitably inclined, you could also consider a donor-advised fund, where you're donating appreciated securities into this donor-advised fund, which is actually the charity itself. You get the full write-off in the given year, and then you can use that donor-advised fund almost like a family foundation and make gifts throughout many years in the future. So, not all these tips will apply to everyone. In fact, the question you need to ask yourself is which ones might apply to me? But start thinking about that now, because as we get to the end of the year, many of these tips you need to start thinking about and act on right away. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't remind you to always check with your legal, accounting, and financial advisors before making any decisions. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Hi, I'm Mary Lee Anderson, Executive Director of Senior Services of Alexandria, and I'm here to tell you about your community calendar for the month of December. You can all get in the mood for the holidays because that wonderful traditional show, it will be at the Little Theater of Alexandria. It's The Christmas Carol, the classic by Charles Dickens, and of course it's a must for the entire family. Little Theater puts on some wonderful productions, and I'm sure this will be a great way to celebrate the holiday season. To get more information and to order tickets, go to thelittletheater.com or call 703-683-5778. If you'd like to celebrate the holidays with other seniors during the December month, you can come to the annual Senior Holiday Luncheon sponsored by the Alexandria Successful Aging Committee. It's happening on December 10th at First Baptist Church on King Street. It features a delicious holiday luncheon and live entertainment. It's loads of fun, and if you would like to find out more, call Senior Services at 703-836-4414. The luncheon is free. You just need to make a reservation, so we have plenty of food for everyone. If you're looking to create your own holiday gifts through different classes, you can get them through the Alexandria Department of Recreation. They have a Jewelry Creations Club that meets at Cora Kelly on Tuesdays from 7 to 8:30 p.m. That's Tuesdays. Or take a stab at knitting a holiday scarf with the Knitting Club that meets on Thursdays from 10 to 2 at the Mount Vernon Rec Center. You can find out more about that online at alexandriava.gov/recreation or call 703-746-5423. Looking ahead into 2016, you can save the date for Senior Services of Alexandria's January 9th Speaker Series event. We'll be focusing on caregiver support. This one will be on Saturday, and it'll be held at Emmanuel Church on the Hill at 3606 Seminary Road. The event begins at 9:30 for registration and ends about noon. We're co-sponsoring this event with AARP, and we'll be providing wonderful information about how to help a caregiver take care of their loved one and themselves. It's also a free event. We serve a light breakfast, and you can register online at seniorservicesalix.org or call 703-836-4414, extension 110. That's your December community calendar. Happy holidays to everyone, and we'll see you in 2016.
Okay, today we're going to work on your triceps, your chest, and biceps.
Okay, well, let's get started.
Okay, first, you do the standing or sitting, but let's go ahead and try this sitting down.
Okay.
Okay, let's sit down. First, we're going to work your triceps. Now, in triceps, you're going to grab your ball, almost like you're going to squeeze the ball. Okay? You're going to take your arm, pull it straight back. Make sure your elbow is pointing straight. Okay? You're going to squeeze the ball as you're pushing the ball straight up. Now, don't push it over your head this way. You're going to squeeze it and push it straight up. Okay? That's working your triceps. Okay?
How many of these should we do every day?
Now, I normally do in a class like sets of 12. Now, the next one, you're still working your triceps. You're going to bring the ball slightly to your chin, but elbows in tight. You're going to squeeze the ball and push it straight out. And once you push it straight out, you're going to give a little squeeze right here. Right. Bring it here and squeeze, going straight out. Okay? That's still targeting the tricep. At a different angle. You have your long head and your short head of the tricep. You're working both angles. Okay? Like I said, reps of 12 normally, or if you can do at least 5 or 6 starting out, that'd be great.
Okay.
Okay, good. Now, the next one we're going to do is going to work the chest muscle. Have the ball straight out. I'm going to just give the ball like a good squeeze. Okay, just squeeze it just like that. That's working the chest, and you may hit the little bit of the bicep on that. Just squeeze just slightly. Yeah, there you go.
That's a good one.
Then the same squeeze, but you're going to have a different angle, slightly up, a little higher. All right, now you're going to work the top part of your chest. Squeeze. There you go. Okay. Now, same thing with the chest. Elbow's going to be out. You're going to squeeze it, hold for about a second, and then relax. Squeeze, hold, and relax. That's working that other chest muscle at a different angle. Now, the chest has several muscles going all around. We work the lower, the top, now we're working the mid part of the chest. Okay? Now, this time, you want to point your hand outward. You're going to squeeze, going straight out.
That's hard.
Yeah, just like that. Squeeze and push it out. Right. Right. If you go to alexandriava.gov and look up senior programming or senior exercise,
Okay.
then we should pop up on that.
Okay, great.
Right.
All right, good.
Well, we're back. I'm here with Megan Webb, the Executive Director of the Animal Welfare League of Alexandria, and she's telling us some of the facets of their broad-reaching program, all of which are targeted to healthy pets and good care for them in the Alexandria community. So Megan, where we left off, we were talking about adoption. How does that work?
Yeah,
Can you just walk in and walk out and
No, it's but it's
out a
not as
puppy?
scary as people might think it is. They've heard stories that it's gonna it's more difficult than getting adopting a child. It's not.
It is?
It's not.
Oh, good.
But we're gonna make sure that it's a right match for you. So we have staff and volunteers who are happy to discuss with everyone who comes in. What are you looking for? What's your life like? If you're someone who likes to sit on a couch and watch TV and not going out very much, maybe an Australian Shepherd puppy might not be the best match for you.
Right.
But maybe an older cat who could sit on your lap and snuggle. That's the right match.
Or a turtle.
A turtle. We have turtles.
Low maintenance turtle.
We do.
All
So
right.
there's all kinds of options depending on your lifestyle. So that's what we're really going to talk about when you come to visit us, is what kind of match is going to be right. And
What sort of exotics have you placed?
oh, we get everything in. We just recently had a pig.
A pig. A good pet.
A pig is not allowed in Alexandria, but
Oh,
someone had one
never
for
mind.
3 years. And
Okay.
so we ended up with it and found it a great home.
Okay.
So you never know what we might have and what's going to be right for you. I always tell people, go into the shelter with an open mind. Find out what's going to, you might find out that a certain animal might be a way better match than you might have expected. So for seniors, pets can be wonderful companions.
Exactly.
And we also have a Seniors for Senior program. So if you're 65 or older and there's a senior animal, we do those adoptions for no cost because it oftentimes can be a really good match for individuals. So there's no fee for adoptions if you're a senior.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
it's a
helpful.
senior animal, so an animal that's an older animal. And also, we also have a great program called the Adopt It Forward program. So there's many people in the community who cover the fees for lots of different animals. So if the adoption fee is a concern, there's ways that we often are able to cover those fees. So really thinking about whether or not you're wanting to have an animal in your life, come talk to us and we can help see if that's something that works for you. We are a big believer that animals can really improve people's lives.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
only improve the life of that animal that's coming from the shelter, but improves the lives of the people. So whatever we can do to keep animals with people or get them reunited. So that's why we have partnered with Alexandria Senior Services, Senior Services of Alexandria, because we know that there's seniors who sometimes struggle keeping their animal with them. And we know for sure that if they are able to keep the animal with them, the healthier and happier both of them are going to be. And so we have the Animals program, which we partnered with.
What's Animals?
And it's a program where if there's seniors out there who need assistance with their animals getting food or sometimes supplies, we get a lot of food and supplies donated to us. And
You mean those heavy bags of dog food?
Exactly.
You can get some help for a senior
You
for that?
can. So Senior
careful.
Services of Alexandria has volunteers who come pick up items from us that we get donated and then deliver them to those people who may need them. So that's something that people
Isn't
can
that
take
a
use of.
counterpart to Meals on Wheels?
It is. It's very connected to Meals
All
on
right.
Wheels, but you don't actually always have to be a member of Meals on Wheels
Right.
to do that. But it was sprouted out of that idea.
Oh, okay.
And it also came from the idea that, here we have lots of donations and we can help people in the community, and we get lots of animals into the shelter that when people can no longer care for them because they may not have enough resources. And that's our goal, is to keep the animals. The best place for an animal is to stay with its owner most of the time.
What do you do in the unfortunate situation where the owner passes on
Yeah.
and what do you do in that case? What,
Yeah,
or
and
is there
too
provision or
often-
is there a codicil in their medical directive that says a pet directive?
Unfortunately, not often enough. Very
Okay.
rarely does that happen. Most often we get a call that someone has passed away and our field services officers may have to go and get that animal because there's no next of kin. And then we have no information. There's no information about what that animal likes to do, what its favorite toys are, what food it likes, what medications it's on.
Right.
And if people have a chance to really think about some of that, and I know it's hard to think about some of the, if thinking about death, but your animal's going to go on. And if it comes to the shelter and we don't have that, it can be very difficult for us to place them. And a lot of times, those animals are really depressed. They come to us, they're very sad. Oftentimes we can tell if it's an animal that a person has died. They're usually very lethargic, very sad. And it can be weeks sometimes before they come out and show us their real personality. So if we've had a chance to get to read or know a little bit about the animal beforehand, it helps us when we place them.
How often does that happen? Is that a
Oh, we
frequent-
get animals very, very frequently that
Okay.
after the owner has died, or they have to go into long-term care, and they are no longer able to care for the animal. And sometimes when they've gone into long-term care, aren't well enough to tell us about the animal. So if people can take a little time, write a little biography about their animal, what they like, it really can help. And to give us time, and even if they want to come into the shelter, we can assist them with that. And it's a really good idea to start thinking about those things.
You have volunteer opportunities. What
We
kinds
do.
of things can seniors do
Yes.
that would be beneficial to the variety of things that you do?
So lots and lots of things that we need help with. And we have seniors who are part of both of our organizations who volunteer for both. But our seniors can and are especially great when they're able to volunteer during the week. That's something that we're always
having
needing.
time to serve.
Yeah, available during the week is so critical because we don't have many volunteers who can do that. So there's animals that they can walk, they can socialize with. If they like to sit in a cage with a cat, we have big rooms that the cats can get socialized. We have washing laundry, sorting lots and lots of donations if they like to be organized, talking to the public, greeting the public. Sometimes volunteers help with the Animeals program, driving our animals to and from their appointments for the veterinarian or wildlife transportation. There's many, many opportunities. So varying on your level of skills or interests or what you're able and wanting to do, there's probably an opportunity for you.
You had mentioned you've got a couple of programs unique to senior services and Animal Welfare League. Is there anything else that in that relationship that we should bring out?
Well, as we talked about, is the Animeals program, and we're hoping as that program continues, I think there's ways of growing that and finding ways to support seniors to keep their animals with them as long as possible. And that's really our goal. I mean, we see it on our side where the animals come to us after the senior is no longer able to care for them. And it's really sad, and we want to find ways to keep them. And then on the senior side, it's really, really hard for them when their animals are no longer able to be their companion. So anything we can do to keep those people, animals and people and their pets together is what we want.
Perfect. And the benefits of a pet are enormous.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Health-wise, just
They're
emotionally.
both written and emotional. I mean, there's statistics and research, but beyond
Absolutely.
that, it's just you. We used to have a dog that passed on, and the thing was, it never talked back.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was always a good friend and
It
eager
is.
to see us, so that's valuable.
It is.
We're out of time. It is the Christmas season. I have to leave this message. Please go to see the Animal Welfare League, go to the Vola Lawson facility, pick up a puppy and take it home and give it your love. We wish you a very happy set of holidays. Megan, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And we're looking forward to you all being healthy and prosperous and happy in 2016. Thank you.